Today we'll continue to read Holes by Louis Sacker. The last time we read this, Stanley was hot and sweaty from digging with blisters forming on his hands, and Mr. Sir was telling him he needs to get with it. Two vocabulary words that you'll need to know for this lesson, for this reading, are dawdle, which means to waste time or be slow, and gestured, which means the movement of a body part to express meaning, as in, gesture, moving your head or using your hands while talking. Let's continue to read to see if we can find out more about what exactly is going on with all the holes Stanley and Zero and the rest of the gang are being forced to dig. And you will continue from right there. Yes.
The next time the water truck came, it was driven by Mr. Pedinsky, who also brought sack lunches. Stanley sat with his back against a pile of dirt and ate. He had a bologna?
Go ahead and read it to the end.
Bologna sandwich, potato chips, and a large chocolate chip cookie.
All right, here. This is one of the things we'll do here. The next time the water truck... Okay. He had a bologna sandwich, potato chips, and a large chocolate chip cookie. Now you reread it.
He had a bologna sandwich, potato chips, and a large chocolate chip cookie.
Awesome.
How you doing? Asked Maggot. Not real good, said Stanley. Well, the first hole's the hardest, Maggot said. Stanley took a long, deep breath. He couldn't afford to dawdle. He was way behind the others, and the sun just kept getting hotter. It wasn't even noon yet, but he didn't know if he had the strength to stand up. He thought about quitting. He wondered what they would do to him. What could they do to him? His clothes were soaked with sweat. In school, he had learned that sweating was good for you. It was nature's way of keeping you cool. So why was he so hot? Using his shovel for support, he managed to get to his feet. Where are we supposed to go to the bathroom? He asked Maggot. Maggot gestured with his arms to the great expanse around them. Pick a hole, any hole, he said. Stanley staggered across the lake, almost falling over a dirt pile. Behind him, he heard Maggot say, "But first, make sure nothing's living in it." After leaving Myra's house, Ella wandered aimlessly through the town until he found himself down by the wharf. He sat on the edge of a pier and stared down into the cold, black water. He could not understand how Myra had trouble deciding between him and Igor. He thought she loved him. Even if she didn't love him, couldn't she see what a fool person Igor was?
All right, let's go ahead and do that one for another echo. Even if she didn't love him, couldn't she see what a foul person Igor was? Now you reread it.
Even if she didn't love him, couldn't she see what a foul person Igor was?
Very good.
It was like Madame Zerny had said. Her head was as empty as a flower pot. Some men were gathering on another dock, and he went to see what was going on. A sign read, "Deckhands wanted, free passage to America."
All right, real quick. How would you feel if this was all happening to you right now?
If I was in Stanley's position, I guess I'd feel kind of like confused to why I was there if I knew I was innocent.
Okay.
And then in Elia's situation, I feel like I would, I don't know, move on, because I don't think I would personally be in that situation. Because, I mean, obviously, you don't pick your lover by pigs.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think I'd ever find myself in that situation. If I did, I'd probably feel awkward.
Okay. You can continue reading.
He had no sailing experience, but the ship's captain signed him aboard. The captain could see that Elliot was a man of great strength. Not everybody could carry a full-grown pig up the side of a mountain. It wasn't until the ship had cleared the harbor and it was heading out across the Atlantic that he suddenly remembered his promise to carry Madame Zorni up the mountain. He felt terrible. He wasn't afraid of the course. He thought that it was a lot of nonsense. He felt bad because he knew Madame Zorni had wanted to drink from the stream before she died. Zero was the smallest kid in Group D, but he was the first one to finish digging. "You're finished?" Stanley asked inveriously. Zero said nothing. Stanley walked to Zero's hole and watched him measure it with his shovel. The top of his hole was a perfect circle, and the sides were smooth and steep. Not one dirt clod more than necessary had been removed from the earth. Zero pulled himself up to the surface. He didn't even smile. He looked down his perfectly dug hole, spat in it, then turned his head and headed back to the camp compound. Zero's one word, "dude," said zigzag. Stanley would have laughed, but he didn't have the strength. Zigzag had to be the weirdest dude Stanley had ever seen. He had a long, skinny neck and a big, round head with wild, fizzy blonde hair that stuck out in all directions. His head seemed to bob up and down on his neck like it was on a spring. Armpit was the second one to finish digging. He also spat into his hole before heading back to the camp compound.
When you get to the end of the page, you can go read it.
One by one, Stanley watched each of the boys spit into his hole and return to the camp compound. Stanley kept digging. His hole was almost up to his shoulders.
Okay, real quick. No, yeah. Real quick, and then you can read a little bit more. As you've been reading, what pictures have you seen in your mind?
I can probably see, Elia, remembering, his promise when he was on the ship to the old woman. And then I can see, Stanley digging a hole and watching all the other boys finish before him.
Okay, continue.
Although it was hard to tell exactly where ground level was because his dirt piles completely surrounded the hole, the deeper he got, the harder it was to raise the dirt up out of the hole. Once again, he realized he was going to have to move the piles. His cap was stained with blood from his hands. He felt like he was digging his own grave. In America, Elia learned to speak English. He fell in love with a woman named Sahara Miller. She could push a plow, milk a goat, and most important, think for herself. She and Elia often stayed up half the night talking and laughing together. Their life was not easy. Elia worked hard, but bad luck seemed to follow him everywhere. He always seemed to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. He remembered Madame Zuri telling him that she had a son in America. Elia was forever looking for him. He'd walk up to complete strangers and ask if they knew someone named Zerny, or had ever heard of anyone named Zerny. No one did. Elia was sure what he'd do if he ever found Madame Zerny's son anyway. Carry him up a mountain and sing the pig lullaby to him.
Alright, you can stop right there. Alright, that's good for today. Alright. What do you think is the most important thing to remember in what you read today?
Probably remember that Elia, is trying so hard to, please Madame Zerny.